Hello there, I'm Stuart Goldsmith and you are watching my Infinite Sofa. This is my massively interactive chat show, and for once I did that bit without reading it off the script. It's got the very best comedy performance. I mean, you don't care about that because it's a simple sentence, but I just did it whilst hurriedly scrolling up and down the Google spreadsheet to find it, and I fucking nailed it and then immediately blew it out of my arse by pointing it out. My career in a nutshell. Now, we've got the very best comedy performers from all around the world. Tonight we have performers from America, India, Newcastle and Canterbury. I've not strictly checked, but I think Canterbury. You're watching on Twitch via infinitesofa.com. You can also find links there to watch previous episodes on YouTube, which, being exclusive to Twitch, I now hate. I hate it like I hate coming up with things that I hate. Brackets, I'm a good person. Of course, if you are or become a follower and teach the Twitch algorithm that you enjoy, you know what a follower is, you're familiar with Twitch, and if you're not familiar with Twitch, all you need to do is sign up for a Twitch account and then click follow and follow this show. You basically get notifications whenever we're on, and you teach the Twitch algorithm that you enjoy comedy as well as watching fish evade capture for prolonged periods of time. Fuck it, fuck. I stumbled on the word prolonged. Did everyone get? I was doing a joke there about fishing taking a long time. Apparently people watch fishing on Twitch. Someone told me in the writer's room. More on that later. But the point is, you teach the algorithm and you also get notifications. That can only be a good thing, especially because producer Callum switches the Twitch chat halfway through the show to follower only. What an absolute wazzock! Yes, I'm bringing it back. No one said Wazzock for 30 years, but I'm bringing it back. And let's deal with this briefly. It's a difficult time to do comedy. The world is on fire. There's a fucking awful, awful situation going on in America and an uprising, and maybe it will be successful, and Black Lives Matter, and don't give me that All Lives Matter shit. I'll see you later for an argument in the green room, if you fancy that. But look, we still have to do light entertainment because this is our job. So that said, let's get the fuck on with the show. On the show tonight, we have Sindhu Vee. We have Jack Tucker. Do you know what I'm going to ask is that the people on the sofa start clapping and applauding for these names, because every time I think they don't know whether they should, and that's my fault. On the show tonight, Sindhu Vee and the incredible Herbie Treehead, perfectly imperfect performer that he is, and shut your whore mouth. It's David Hoare, ladies and jelly beans. Here he is. That's him shutting his whore mouth. He's hoping it catches on as a gesture, but it's really not working. And I just don't want anyone for a minute to be concerned that me and David are some sort of double act. It's not really a traditional double act. He is the Debbie McGee to my Gandalf the White. Boom! I basically think that's a good gag if it makes David laugh. He's smiling with good. And watching all of those guests and David, everyone watch David. Everyone just closely watch David. Look at his face. Look at it. David, are you lit better tonight? Because, my God, you actually look quite handsome.
Thank you. There's Lampgate going on in my house. So.
Can you? Oh, tell us about Lampgate.
the week lockdown started.
No, I've lost interest. Okay, watching all of them with me on the sofa tonight are these members. I'm such a little bitch. And now I can quote that British Comedy Guide printed an article, an interview with me where I said I'm such a little bitch, and it's the headline of the title. And now I can do next year, assuming the Edinburgh Festival happens, 2021, I can do a masterclass in comedy, The List or whatever it was, Something Brilliant, The Independent, Such a Little Bitch, British Comedy Guide, and I cannot wait. Now, watching all of this shit with me are these members of the public. Some of them are new. It's not just the same bastards. Although if you are in the Twitch stream, a lot of them are in the Twitch stream. Don't talk to them. I want their full attention. Let's find out about all of these members of the public. Let's see who we've got. We've got Alan. Alan's not a golfer. He's very keen to point that out. Alan, oh my God. I had no idea that you and I were kindred spirits. I mean, I'm massively into golf. Let's chat about our love of... Holy fucking shit, look at the amount of now, do you have Batmania? Is that a thing?
Hang on.
Oh, God. I think he's going to go and get something that has Batmania written on it.
Oh. No.
Oh, my God.
Not okay with that.
Yeah.
Proud of every bit of it.
Yeah, good lad. Now listen, we had a bit of a chat on, I think it was Chops Comedy last Tuesday, where I basically laid into you for telling everyone, but I laid into you for looking like a golfer. Now look, bring your face closer to the webcam. We can just see your face. This guy plays golf, right? Probably wears a polo shirt, moves back, bang, Batmania. Which is the most exciting piece of, like, which one would you save first from a fire?
Oh, Christ.
Hang on, while you're thinking, David, can we start a fire remotely? Is that possible?
Get on it.
Get on it. Get on
I
it.
think
Come on, what have you got for us? This is
Probably.
absolutely incredible.
probably that.
Holy shit.
That's the issue that came out on the month of the year I was born.
Oh,
Aw.
I think I'd keep that.
okay. I think the
And
real
all
question
of
is,
that,
remembering the terms of service, Alan, have you got a Batman tattoo?
I haven't.
Not got a Batman tattoo. God,
No.
the length some people, the shit some people will buy to avoid just getting a lovely Batman tattoo by the end of the show. So that's Alan. Let's see who else is here. We've got someone new over here. This is Jake. This is comedian Jake. I'm not going to give you your surname. I will allow you to give your surname if you wish, because I have asked you to hide your surname, and you never know which naked wanking old men are watching the show and making notes of which bits to video. And then let's not think about that. I regret that. Jake, how you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm locked down on my own. I've got nothing to do. I also
Whoa! Let's assume that you've got loads to do and you've prioritised this out of all your.
Oh yeah, obviously that yeah. I've got something that I wanted to show to Alan as well, though. It's not Batman, but I've got a Spider-Man one next to me.
God, you wouldn't believe how long this took to set up. That's incredible. A life-size Spider-Man. Do you ever, if you're feeling a bit nervous in your house late at night, do you ever sort of prop it up against the window to deter burglars or flies?
No, I've done the opposite. Or flies. I've had the opposite though, where I had it propped up in an old house where it used to live next to the window, and then I woke up in the middle of the night, and all I could see was the outline of the Spider-Man guy in the window, and I thought it was someone who'd broken into my house and was staring over my bed.
Oh my God. For me, the really chilling aspect of that is you referred to that cardboard cutout as the Spider-Man guy. Now, I know you've been inside for a long time. Watch yourself, buddy. Jake, great to have you on the show. Thank you for coming. What toy, Jake, were you most jealous of when you were a kid? Jealous of a friend having?
It wasn't a friend, it was my brother. When we were younger, we both really wanted remote control Robot Wars toys for Christmas.
Ooh, you're showing your lack of age.
And my mum bought us them both for Christmas, and my brother got Sir Kill-A-Lot, and I got Refbot.
The ref.
Yeah.
Oh my God, was this
Refbot.
your mum attempting to prevent you from actually having a robot war? Imagine that. He opens his first, and then you're like, great, now we can adjudicate.
Yeah, exactly. It's a non-robot. It's the Nick Clegg of robots. It was
Oh
awful.
my God, you're not wrong. The Nick Clegg of robots. What a uniquely 90s and early noughties sentence that is. Fantastic. Thanks for coming, Jake. Great to have you here. Let's see, we've got the return of Shara. Hey, Shara, you are crochet captain. Can you show us something that you've crocheted which you have not already showed us that you've crocheted?
Well, I got this little teddy in the background. Hold on, let me grab it.
Here we go. I mean, I just took a wild punt on that. I thought anyone can crochet. What she? Can we write down for it doesn't matter now. Doesn't matter. What's the moment?
Write it down.
Here we go.
Yeah,
What's
so
this? What have
this
you got?
little guy, well, I say little guy, he's 60 centimeters. He's quite big. He's my biggest project yet, and I finished him in the past week. So
Well done.
Shara is from Bristol. So I just love it. I'm from Bristol, but I love pointing out the accent. Shara, how long did that take to crochet? How long did that take you?
Hour-wise, I couldn't tell you, but I worked across 5 days. So I don't know, probably about what?
2
12
hours?
hours.
2 hours with breaks. Shara, I've got to tell you, big fan of that and huge fan of, is that a homemade, is that what we call in our household an artisanal Pikachu in the back of your shot? Is that artisanal?
Oh my God, no, he's not. He is a ditto chew. Yes, he
Did
is.
someone else, hang on a minute, David Hawes stuck his David Orr in. What's going on?
I was young in the 90s.
Oh,
so-
fuck you. Good. But you didn't make that one. So effectively, the theme tonight is people have got kind of cardboard cutouts and representations of their favourite heroes. Now, let's see if we can find out. Oh, who do I want to ask? I don't dare. Flossie. What have you got in the way? What have you? Hello, Whiskey. Let's all look at lovely Whiskey. Oh my God.
Oh,
Great dog. Great dog.
on a big sigh. What can I do for you?
What have you got a massive, great Spider-Man thing somewhere in your room or nearest equivalent?
Nah, soz mate. I'm too cool.
Oh, Flossie, please. To have you here. Matthias, have you got some sort of Spider-Man or a Nibelung or something, whatever one of those is?
Sorry.
What's the nearest? What's the closest thing you've got to a large toy or cardboard cutout of an icon that you love? I love it. Whenever Matthias gets up, I'm always like, he's going to come back with something good. But one of these days, I think he might just fuck off.
What is that?
Oh, that's isn't that Stinky Pete, the ironing board detective?
I'm on board with that.
His character in Germany. It's what? What is it?
What you just said.
Stinky Pete, the ironing board detective. I mean, there are lucky guesses, and there are I can't be bothered to improvise. Not to worry. Hello, Flossie's come back with something. Hello, Floss. What have we got?
Oh
I
god.
have a figurine that one of my old pattern makers made for me when I moved to the UK. That's Whiskey. That's someone that I admire.
Whoa, it's yourself! Oh, how quintessentially Flossie. It does occur to me, I had a little bubble of an idea. I was like, oh, I could ask them which of them have effigies of themselves in their houses. And then I thought, oh, I think that's going to provoke some quite terrifying answers. I'm absolutely sure that Alan's tried to stick it in Batman on a lonely drunk night. Absolutely, yeah.
You see the back of that?
Yeah, whoa, wow. That was my fault. I started that, and I can only apologise. You don't take Batman's name in vain. Now, drop it like the gnome, says Heather. Is Heather actually in the show? Heather is an absolute culprit for doing, oh God, what's happened now? Now, the thing about this is, even though it's Spider-Man, that's the most Deadpool thing I've ever seen. There we go, hairy Spider-Man. Now listen, the next time we do an emote, it absolutely has to be not a man, because our cup runneth over with men and indeed trains. But if someone would like to screen grab that hairy Spider-Man for a future show, then what I'd ask, in fact, if you can all get that, screen grab it, use some sort of like Photoshop or like a free online program if you can, cut it out and then fucking delete it. Show, and we'll meet some more of these people later on. Now, listen, we've got something so special now. Oh, and I should point out as well, at 9:15 p.m. tonight, that's now. So at 10 p.m. tonight, when did we work this? Oh, it is 10 p.m. I just only changed it in one bit in the script. At 10 p.m. tonight, we are going to teleport in the highest donor to the show. If you're new to the show, you may not be aware that all of these people are fucking dicks. But if you probably do know that by now. If you are new to the show, then you may not be aware that all of these people are on the sofa with me because they donated to support the show. They donated any amount they like, literally any amount, upwards of £1.99. But any amount. Some of them donated £5, some of them donated £10. A lot of them donated £3. Don't know why. That's just the level that we've reached. But my point is, you donate to support the show. We thank you. That keeps the show going, keeps the show alive, and it also puts you in a lottery of who gets to be in the sofa. So we randomly choose people. I can tell you now, Ian Wood didn't make it. Rob didn't make it. Alex M didn't make it tonight. I know. It's genuinely randomised. That last bit was me asking Bean to choose a number between 1 and 3. She hates Ian. So, hate Ian. And they were only telling me earlier on how much they liked it when Ian stayed in the cupboard. I'm just starting shit because I like bullying Bean. My point is, sorry, Stu, says Ian in the chat. It's 9:12 already. Yes, that was my fuck up. My point is, support the show, and at 10 p.m. we are going to teleport the highest donor into the show. We're going to teleport the highest donor into the show to chat with me and my soon-to-be co-host, Sindhu Vee, in a sort of deep and intimate manner. You can ask Sindhu all of her most revealing and intimate comedy secrets, and she can give you a tight slap. So for that privilege, I really feel like that's gone weird, but for that privilege you have to pay. You have to pay for the tight slap. Oh God, it's all gone a bit wardy around here. Now, what we'll do is we will start the fucking show, because the last thing, we're starting now. It's 15:15. We're starting. It's a long run up, but then it goes like a fucking rocket. We are going to welcome to the show one of my dear friends, because tonight I guarantee we have a hard stop at 10:30. The show is going to be 90 minutes. I'm looking at it now. 75 minutes, absolute max. Don't fucking laugh at me, hairy Spider-Man. Let's get that on a badge, please. Can we? Don't laugh at me, hairy Spider-Man. I like it. That's good. And as well, this is a note before we start. This is my final note. Herb, if I can ask you to turn your video on, please, such that I can highlight. Oh, it probably almost certainly is. There it is. Let's get you to, marvellous. Thank you. This is one of those moments, David. This is one of those ad breaks I need when I need basically to just have a little breath and work out what the fuck is happening next. David, could you play us a song while I work out what I'm doing next?
How many wanks is too many wanks? How many wanks is too many wanks? How many wanks is too many wanks on a family holiday?
Pull back and reveal. It's a pull back and reveal from David Hoare. You shut your whore mouth. Now, let's crack on. Current leader, Lady of the Internet, supported the Infinite Sofa with £5. £5
me,
to
hi.
teleport into the show at 10. Was that you, Flossie?
No, I'm
It's
lady.
me.
I'm lady of the internet. Sorry, I just thought I'd just donate anyway.
Shara, I can't keep up with all your names. I've got your credit card details. I've got your real name, your actual name. I've got your pretend name, and I've got your Lady of the Internet. I literally can't.
That wasn't me. That
But
wasn't
listen,
me.
Shara, you're in with a chance. If no one else goes above a fiver,
It's
you're in with
Libby.
a chance
No,
of being on the
I
show
was
that
gonna
you're
say
in.
It's
it wasn't
me.
Right. What?
It was me. I'm lady of the
Livy,
internet.
You're lady, and I've not
Me.
even said hello to you properly, Livy. I'm
It's
so sorry.
fine.
I saw Shara waving her hands around, acting the goat, and yet here you are in what can only be described as an 80s bedroom. Lovely to have you. Thanks for coming. I know you're new. I meant to chat to you properly, but we're going to crash on. I will chat to you and welcome you
It's
properly.
fine.
No, it's not fine. It's my show, and I will chat to you properly when I say so. It is time for our first guest, and we're going to smash through this entire show with very little chat from me. So, please, let's welcome genuinely one of my dearest friends. I love this man. He's one of the lights of my life. Give it up for Herbie Treehead.
Ladies and gentlemen, magic! Ooh! Thank you! I haven't talked to anybody for 10 weeks. Except put that on the draining board, put it in the washing machine. Magic! Cup, stick, cup, ball. Oh, bollocks. Ball. Oh, hang on, ball. 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 Bye-bye ball. Magic. Bye-bye ball. Bye-bye ball. Stupid. Don't say anything off the internet. Ball. Bye-bye ball. Bye-bye ball.
Hey.
Doing this in a cupboard by yourself. Ball. David Hoare.
Hello.
David Hoare. You're fantastic. You're the best thing on this show. Whatever you're not doing, don't do it. Just don't ever learn anything, David Hoare. Brilliant. You're wonderful. The only reason I came on the show is because you're here, because the first night you ever did it, I was there and I just left. David Hoare,
Yes,
where's the ball?
it's in your hand.
Oh, hang on a second. Wait, I've got to, hang on. Wait, I've got to turn into a wizard. I forgot.
Okay.
Terms of service.
Bye.
Hey.
I'm a wizard. I've got to put the magic jacket back on. Put the magic stuff in. David Hoare.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Where's the ball?
It's in your hand.
Good. David Hoare, where's the ball?
It's in your pocket.
Okay. It's not under the cup, is it? Because if it was under the cup, it would look like
Hey.
David Hoare, where's the ball?
Then you just under the cup.
No, it's in my pocket. Oh, where's the ball?
In your pocket.
No, it's under the cup. David Hoare, look. Watch. I know what you're thinking, David Hoare. You're thinking he's using more than one ball. If I was, it would look like that, but I'm not. Oh, where's the ball?
In your pocket.
No, it's under the cup. Watch, David. Oh, watch. I'm going to show you how it works. Two balls. I take one of them. I put it away. How many's left?
One.
I take that one, I put it away. How many's left?
None.
I take that one, I put it away. How many's left? I take that one, I put it away. How many's left?
One.
2.
Oh.
Show you how it works. Watch. I take it. I throw it away. It's still there. I take it. I throw it away. It's still called cheating. It's good when you're married. I take it. I throw it away. It's still there. Everybody with me. I take it. I throw it away.
It's still there.
I throw it away. It's still there. Harry Potter. I'll show you how it works. Watch this. This is the real magic. David Hall. David Hall.
Yes.
Pick any kind of fruit.
Banana.
No, banana. No, apple. Thanks. David Hall, pick another fruit.
Apple.
Thank you. Well done. I'm going home now.
Herbie Treehead, ladies and gentlemen. That's lovely, lovely Herbie Treehead. I mean, he's literally going home. I'm stopping his video. He's gone. He's gone home. What a wonderful thing. And David, he is genuinely such a fan of yours. And yeah, I know. I sent you a little Facebook message, didn't I? Because I was like, Herbie reckons you're the best thing about the show. But Herbie is the sort of ringleader of a collective of clowns that we call Successful Failures. And I think David, game recognised game. So here we are. We are going to welcome now to the show. We're going to do. Shall we do the owl game? Shall we play? Do you want to be an owl or not? There's probably not time to explain it. I tell you what. Let's quickly meet Livy, and then I'll bring my co-host on to start the show. Livy, to start the show. Livy, what toy were you most jealous of your friend having when you were a kid?
I don't know if this counts, but Heelys. I was never allowed a pair of Heelys.
I'm going to have to say, Livy, I appreciate that. I'm going to have to say this question is basically just revealing how much younger than me everyone is. And I think it's fucking bullshit. Hey, Leslie, you waved.
Yeah,
I'm saying
not
is,
younger than you, Steve.
you waved. I don't know, man. I don't know. What you need to remember about me is I've had a profoundly easy life. Leslie, what was your favourite toy? What was the toy you were most jealous of when you were a kid?
Well, this is going to show my age because I really wanted an Atari.
Oh yes, an Atari. I had a Spectrum ZX 48K, and there is now more. There's more memory than that in this hammer. Incredible. It's true. It's true. Listen, gang. At 10 p.m. we're going to finish the teleportation thing. The current leaders are Leaky, Eamon Goodfellow, and Joy Barriana, a dear friend of mine. With £10. It's £10 to beat. And remember, the donations are cumulative. So if Leaky wants to donate a further £1, I mean, they'd be pretty cheap. But my point is, what is same username? So same username. Why are you saying same username for combined tips? Yes, if you are going to do, don't call it a tip, producer Callum. If you are going to contribute in a very real and lasting way, then you need. He's changed it to the money in capital letters. Is it possible to have a sarcastic capital letter? If you are contributing to the show, if you wish to teleport in, if you put a tenner in and someone else gets a tenner, you put another quid in, then you're on 11. It's all very exciting, and ultimately we all win. And by we, you know what I mean. So let's welcome to the show my co-host. Once she's here, the show can officially start. Can I ask you, Sindhu, can you turn your video? Ladies and jelly spoons, it's Sindhu Vee. Thank you so much for joining us, Sindhu. Now, many of you on the sofa will remember Sindhu was here way back when on something like show number 3, when this was just a load of random bollocks. But she's come back now. Is it so far on the 24 minutes that you've seen? It feels like 2, but the 24 minutes, is it better, do you think?
Yeah.
Kind of repartee that is making mine and Sindhu's new podcast such a glimmering success. Did you notice, Sindhu, we've already had 5 reviews on iTunes?
Oh, no, I haven't. I haven't at all because I thought I'd give it some time. And I don't really read reviews. Did you read them? What do they say? This is great. The show is great.
Well, the problem is you can't help but read them because I kept having to check the Apple Podcasts. I keep saying iTunes, but the Apple Podcasts. That's the that site doesn't suit me at all. That's the thing you're supposed to call iTunes these days. If you look for the little star ratings, then the most recent reviews pop up. But this is my point. We have a 4.9 star out of 5-star average, and that's only because we've only had about 6 people vote. As soon as we get over 100, there's absolutely no way we'll ever hit the dizzy heights of 4.9 again. Physically can't be done.
Well, you say that. If I just incentivize my cousins, like my close cousins in India, which is like 700 people, and tell them that I will bring them something nice from here, because they're always asking me, "Oh, can you bring some?" I'm like, no, I'm not bringing you shit. But if I tell them that, we all get on. We could we could have 5.0 for a long time.
Yes, 5.0, the dizzy heights.
But then you will say that's cheating.
No, I'm less fussed. I think as long as I can pin it on you, I'm down with it.
No, but I mean, you're going to pin something on a brown woman, and what's going to happen? Nothing.
Oh, Jesus, not this again. For fuck's sake. Of all days. Is that now what we missed? What we missed there, Sindhu, was you doing an absolutely classic. Look at that. There we go. That's an emote if ever I've seen one.
But for everyone on the sofa, can I just say that this is pretty much how it goes during the podcast with Stuart and I. Stuart's like, can I say this thing? What does it mean when I say this? And I'm like, fuck it, just say it. It's great. And if anyone says anything, point them at me, because fuck them. That's just basically how it goes.
That's pretty much, that's not just our kind of performative dynamic when we're doing.
That's the dynamic.
That's the dynamic. Very early on in our child labour podcast, which is a parenting podcast and not anything darker and more bleak. But very early on in the life of it, I made this passing observation that our relationship was a little bit good cop, bad cop. Really stuck in Sindhu's craw because she's determined not to be thought of as a bad cop, but actually what she is a sort of corrupt cop.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, is I like bad cop is the guy or the person who comes into the cell and starts beating you up, right? Yes. I don't want to be that person. I don't even like beating other people. I think that's weird. Weird is like a euphemism for horribly bad, but beating, whatever.
Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean, people on the sofa? People at home. She's like, oh, that's really bad. Oh, no, I mean, it's really bad. A bit late now.
Right. Anyway, but then the thing is, I am definitely the cop who comes in and you don't know which side of me you're on. And then I get what I need. And then you find out that I was not on your side.
There we are. That's what you need. I need backup. I basically wish to surround myself by people of higher status and let's face it, drastically lower status. It's important to have a spread. It's important to be at the centre of a thing. Now, listen.
I have never seen you come down on anyone the way you're coming down on Mr. Whore. I've never seen
this Mr. bullshit. That is not.
There you go, right there.
I've
never seen this side of Stuart. I've never seen this side of Stuart. It's very, I'm sorry for you, David, but I have to say, I'm like, wow, Stuart has that side. You're in the middle of telling the story. He's like, I'm not interested anymore. I'm like, what is happening?
Little bitch, British comedy guy.
That's all I know, Sindhu. That's all I know.
Sindhu, listen, one thing that we haven't done, I've been remiss in doing this, largely because there is a script, but I sort of almost don't even really look at it. But we haven't really said much with the Twitch chat. The Twitch chat's been going nuts to welcome you. And also, this is genuinely brilliant. Nick Blakes Evans just supported the Infinite Sofa with £9.99. That passive aggressive donation that's worthy of Maggie SDK herself. That you would deliberately say, sure, take the money. I'm not coming on your fucking show. Absolutely love that. And listen, if you want to slam me in that way, everyone feel free. £9.99 is the ultimate slam. Sindhu, what do you think of the business model so far? Because we're having business chats. We chat, you and I, about the promotion of the Child Labour podcast. We talk about how to get it seen by people. We Instagram lived the other week. That was mostly about mangoes, I remember.
Yeah, and someone slipped into your DMs, but not mine, which I found insulting.
Oh God, they did. They really did. I was like, oh, I'm being exposed to Sindhu's audience, and then one of them sent me a private message saying, "You are a very handsome chap."
I was like, wait, no one has said anything about me, but it was fine. And also, I don't know where to find DMs. And I don't want to ask my kids because that could be very odd. I've had Instagram for 5 years and never really checked the weird ones, like the ones that are in the filter. And I don't want my kid to have to look at that. So, but anyway, the business model of the podcast.
Well, the business model of the infinite sofa. I mention it because we've been pushing this thing. You've got to donate over £10 to get on the sofa. Mr. Plumbers in the stream chat, who's a big supporter of the sofa. I can't find the comment now, but it was something like, "I've already given you loads of money. How much do you want?" And my point is that if we all do our jobs, and by our jobs I mean your jobs, and by your jobs I mean getting other people to watch the fucking show. If everybody right now got on social media and said, "I'm having an incredible time watching the infinite sofa, watch it on Twitch live right now," everybody, if you all did that, because I know you're at your fucking computers, then what I'm saying is we could have some more people here and I would be able to squeeze them and not you. But you have a financial background, Sindhu. You understand money in a way that I can never dream of doing. What's the biggest thing you've learned about how money works?
Money works. You got to have the goods.
You've got to have the goods.
Got to have the goods.
And if we don't?
Well, but no. But listen, for your goods, there's an audience. So you got to have the goods. You see what I mean? And I think I think this show has the goods. I think need to get the word out. But also, you need to remember the people that are coming on and saying, you need to make sure that the people that are not interested in paying are somehow not on the show that much.
Yes, I think that's a good point. Just back briefly to the Twitch stream, J.R. Hardacre supported the show with £9.98.
You know what? Here's the thing. Can I just jump in? And that's great.
Yes.
It's like, you know what? You're giving us money. It's 2 pence less than it would have taken for us to have to tolerate you on the sofa. So great. Here's the money.
Again, you see the use of the word tolerate. It's between the lines. The bad cop is between the lines. Now, Sindhu, listen, I've asked you some time ago. I was like, listen, we've launched the podcast today. Episode 1 with Arabella Weir comes out today. People can find it. In fact, literally, if you're not going to text your friends and say, "Hey, everybody, come and see this thing right now," and sort of arguably, why would you? But, it might be nice. But what you certainly can do is get your mobile devices now. Why don't we, David, let's test it. Why don't you subscribe to mine and Sindhu's podcast right now? Get your mobile. I'm going to time you. Oh, actually, David would normally be the person I would make time someone. Can someone, Sindhu, Sindhu, are you subscribing to our podcast now as well?
I mean, I figure it's as good a time as any.
It is as good a time as any. Right, it's a race. Let's see if you can beat David Hoare. This is everyone watching. Subscribe to the podcast, Child Labour. There's no way the algorithm's going to buy this. That's it. What are you watching what are you listening to your podcast on there, Dave? Spotify. Wow, looks like that 100 million quid they spent on Rogan really worked on you.
You know what? We have
I'm all about that.
We have a 5.0 rating.
We have a 5.0 rating.
Yes. And it's, and I wonder if anyone has said anything. Oh, that's so nice. Someone has written from Battenberg.
From Battenberg. I've got no particular. I don't know. I've got no clues as to where someone.
Stinky Pete.
Well,
is it Stinky Pete?
No, it's just that someone is saying that I'm so happy that 2 of my favorite comedians are getting together to talk about parenting. This is going to be amazing.
Oh, well, there we go. The intensively market research demographic and the dynamic duo is working out. Awesome. Sindhu, listen, I'm going to ask you to stick around for the whole show. I asked you to co-host the show. I don't really know what that means or what it looks like, but basically, if you stay with us, I'll get acts on, and then you can judge either them or the people in the audience. How do you feel? If you go on gallery view briefly, Sindhu, how do you feel about the people you can see? Is there anyone you'd particularly like to talk to? Anyone you like the look of?
I like the look of every single person. I just also want to say before anything else, I am very happy to lean into this thing that, I'm tough and I'm manipulative, because a little bit of manipulation makes life so much more interesting. But I'm leaning into it, but it's not like I'm not the worst person you'll ever meet in the world.
And that we can absolutely agree on that. You are not the worst person in the world. And speaking of low bars, ESV Ethics Gradient just supported the sofa with £9.97, saying let's work slowly back down to zero.
Can I just let me jump in?
Oh God, please jump in.
Say hi to Anne-Marie from Scotland, or Anne-Marie Scotland.
Anne-Marie Scotland, here is Anne-Marie.
Hi.
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 So
how are you?
I'm very good. Is your surname Scotland, or are you in Scotland, or both?
I was on a sort of international thing at the weekend, and you had to say where you were from, and I'm not very good at the tech thing, so I guess I'm going to be Anne-Marie Scotland forever now.
Oh, excellent.
I like it. That's a cool kind of tag. You could start putting some serious graft down in Aberdeen.
Yeah. So
I stay in a caravan, so I can't do this House of Bean. I'm more Vanny Mac.
Nice. I like it. Sindhu, just to clue you in, Bean, who you might be aware of, this is Bean. Bean is a big supporter of the show and yet enormous critic of me somehow. But Bean, we've started doing drag houses. So people on the sofa tonight. Livy, for example. Livy is House of Bean. Shara is House of Bean. Basically, it's a sort of not quite a mutiny. They're sort of like it's a parasitical attempt to take over the show from the inside.
Okay, well, I've being having grown up in India, I've had a few parasites who have quite taken over from the inside. I'm telling you now, Stu, if they put their mind to it, they can make you weak. So be ready.
I will attempt to be ready. Listen, we're going to play a quick game with the people on the sofa and the people in the Twitch stream. Now, we have in the past played the superhero game. We're leaving that aside for the moment. We're going to play categories, or as I call it, Stop the Bus. I don't know if anyone's familiar. It's basically a game Stop the Bus. It's sports. I'm going to say a letter, and then everyone in the stream chat is going to come up with a sport that begins with that letter. And then at the same time, everybody on the sofa, let's have a long shot of the sofa. Look at all these chumps. All of these people on the sofa are going to write down a sport beginning with that letter. Okay, you can have two different sports, people on the sofa, and they need to be unique. Okay, so the stream chat's going to go crazy. I will Google. What's the word? Google. I'm not going to Google anything. I'm going to scroll. Yeah, they're that linked in my mind. Simple. I'm going to cut and paste. Sorry, I mean Coca-Cola. Scroll down. I'm getting no money for that. Would you believe? That's got to be worth 0.01 pence. I'm going to scroll down, and then I'm going to steal a chunk. I'm going to get on a chunk of the thing. I'm going to read them out, and so the people on the sofa, in order to win points, will have to get unique answers. And remember, people on the sofa, what do points mean? Very much. Okie dokie.
And I can't just shout out answers.
No, you mustn't shout out answers, but you can be scathing in your judgment of the answers of the people that we come up with.
I have this reputation to live up to.
No. Sorry, I meant to say, in fact, why don't we, for fun, why don't you try being nice as pie for the next, 10 minutes? And we'll see if you can pull it off.
Okay, let's do that.
Did anyone else feel genuinely threatened?
Do you need me to time it?
Okay, let's do that.
Okie dokie.
Remembering, of course, that we teleport at 10 o'clock. There's 23 minutes to beat the current winners, Leaky, Eamon Goodfellow, and Joy Barriana, all tied at £10. And all you need is 10:01, and you can get in and be personally been nice to by Sindhu Vee. So here we go. Thank you. John Keogh agrees in the Twitch chat. Even that okay was sinister. Here goes. Oh, we're turning on slow mode so the chat doesn't go mad, by the way. One message every 30 seconds. So make it a good one. It's a sport beginning with the letter H. A sport beginning with the letter H. So everyone write one down. Write two down if you're on the sofa. Cindy, you can play along as well. Why don't you write down a couple of H sports? The more unique, the better. And we're going over to a lot of people have absolutely spunked the same one in the same sprint. Feel free, go in there. What we're going to find is now that we've changed it so that everyone. Oh, there's some. Oh, that's good. David Shutter's got a good one. Charismatic's got a good one. Lovely. I'm just going to remind people on the sofa, and I'm looking at you, Bean. Stop looking at the stream chat. Absolutely. Oh, sorry. Wrong side. I apologise. You didn't cheat. It's just the sort of thing you'd do. That's my feeling. Okie dokie. So lot of points in the running. A lot of points. Here we go. Let's go. Let's call it a day. Everyone, pens down. Let's go over to Sindhu first as a kind of arbiter, special guest. What did you come up with? Two sports beginning with H.
No, I came up with 4.
I'm genuinely scared. I'm scared of Sindhu. That's why I keep inviting her on stuff.
Okay, so but then I feel bad because I'm the host. So if I say 4, then the other people who have them, they don't get it doesn't count.
Oh, she's nice as pie.
I don't want to.
Okay,
why don't we let our guests go first?
Yes, I think that's very sensible. That is efficient and ruthlessly so. So here we go. Let's go to Bean. Let's make amends with Bean. What have you got? What's your first one?
Well, I feel like I'm like Ellis James. As soon as I start doing this, my mind is blank. So I've just written down.
What's that?
handball.
Bean referring to a contemporary cool comedian?
I'm sorry. It's the reason I don't refer to you.
Oh, that is. It's a bean slam.
Oh.
Feel your secret emote, bean slam.
The shade.
The shade. Okay, what have we got, Bean?
I wrote handball. I'm bad at this.
Handball. Fatboy Swab says hand jobs, inappropriate. Let's see, hamster eating, high jump, hot girl throwing. Hammer golf. Great work, David Shutter. I'm not seeing handball. Oh, no, Korovac's handball. It was actually the second one to be put there. Unlucky, Bean. No points for Bean. Shara, what have you got for Shara?
The only thing I could think of was hockey. But...
Hockey's all over the place. Get out of here, you big loser. Let's go to James. What have you got, James?
Hopscotch.
Hopscotch. It's a good one. Is it there?
That's
Is
a
it
good
in the
one.
list? Is it? I'm not seeing it in the list. I'm not seeing it in the list. I'll tell you what I am seeing in the list is someone's come up with the amazing slam, refried bean. I love it. Absolutely love it. David, what was your contribution there?
What do you mean this?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Let's go to Phil. Hey, Phil, we've barely spoken to Phil because he's tried to disguise the top of his head as the window behind him. Presumably to camouflage himself. It looks like one of those things. It's like face recognition technology. Get rid of them. Of like chaff, the equivalent of chaff in a sort of aeroplane sense. Hello, Phil. Could you be in a smaller room? Is that possible? Can you get a smaller room for us?
Smaller room at the bathroom, I suppose.
Oh no, that's all right. It's a tribute to Ian. Ian's not here. He failed the random test earlier on. I didn't fail. He just didn't get picked. So a tribute to Ian there, a tiny room. Phil, what have you got? Sport beginning with H.
High dive.
High dive. I think it's good. I don't mind it. Let's see. Did Stu get more mean after he told Sindhu to be nice? Yes. I'm not seeing high dive.
You know, there's a zero-sum amount of niceness and meanness between Stu and I.
Maybe that's
one
it.
of us
Maybe
gets
that's it.
nice, the other one has to get mean. Otherwise, the whole thing is so boring. Two mean people, awful. Two very nice
Yes.
people, no one needs that, right? So it goes like this.
Shut your face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. Let's go. Oh, so Phil, I'm awarding Phil 5 points because I didn't see that anywhere. Whatever he said. Matthias, what have we got?
Hard-boiled egg throwing.
Yes, we were all hoping for hard-boiled egg. Okay, Matthias, you can have 100 points. 100 points, Matthias. David Shutter's done the maths on the reducing. David Shutter, incidentally, into the teleportation fund. David Shutter has put £9.96 and said if we get down to zero, that's nearly £5,000. Let's fucking test those maths. Great work. Okie dokie. Hard-boiled egg from Matthias. I'm not seeing it in the Twitch chat. Let's go to Leslie. What have you got for us, Leslie?
Hacky sack.
Hacky sack, I did see in the chat. I'm afraid hacky sack was in the chat. Very disturbing. Let's go to Anne Marie. What have you got for us, Anne Marie?
I've got hair netball.
Hair netball. Actually, if it's in the chat, I'll give you £1 million. Not a guarantee.
German.
Hair netball. I'm not seeing hair netball. I am seeing hamster punting. What the fuck are you, Blissful Moonrise? Look, and particularly given that your Twitch handle is Blissful Moonrise and your game hamster punting. I love it. You're so welcome. Please come back every time. Yo went for hamster eating. 100-meter running. I like it. Hand gliding. Yeah, arguably. That was from Heather. Hey, Heather. Great to have you back. Hard punching, says Mia. Hard punching. Like it. David, have you ever studied hard punching?
I was on the receiving end, but yeah.
Oh, David, look, everyone already feels sorry for you. So here we are. Let's go to Jake.
Hello.
Not a
Incidentally,
sport.
I think hair netball might be the name of that guy sat next to Matthias.
Listen, the hair netball. Let's just go. Let's check his name. Oh God. Week 11, and even Germany has started to go fucking mental. Thank you, Jake, for your contribution. What's your H sport?
Hurling.
Hurling. We've had hurling. We've had hundreds of hurling. Hundreds of hurling.
I had hesitant driver Formula One.
Hesitant driver Formula One. I like it, but I'm giving you -2 points. Okay. John, let's go for John. What have you got?
Hippo racing.
Hippo.
Hippo racing.
There's something about a man with a proper, genuine in-camera background of many books, which makes me think that hippo racing is probably a thing. I'm going to give you 5 points. I'm going to give you 5 points. Has anyone... I'm just seeing in the Twitch chat, someone just said, someone already said hard-boiled egg. What? Is that true? Heather, did I ignore hard-boiled egg? I don't care. I still like it. It's fine. It's his character. Hoopla hooping, says Diggler Jan. Diggler Jan. I like it. Jiggler Jan. It was Electron Gap said hard-boiled egg. Yeah, but Matthias said it first several shows ago. Hang on, Matthias has got the finger out.
She said hard-boiled egg. I said hard-boiled egg throwing.
Ah, it's double the points. That's 200 points. Shara has just donated £9.95. What Shara that's in the room? What kind of Shara, stop giving me your money. I feel like I'm holding you hostage.
Okay, I have to step in. If you want money, you never say that.
Sorry, yes, good point. Shara, I'm worried as to whether or not you're sort of somehow vulnerable and should be allowed access to a credit card. Let's find out by testing how much you're prepared to get. Is that right?
No.
The right sort of thing, Sindhu? Is that okay?
No. You have to say thank you, Shara. That's very kind. Full stop.
Okay. Thank you, Shara. That's very kind. Full stop. Yeah, when she says it, I think. Horball. Eamon Goodfellow just wins himself 20 points. Horball. Spelt what we're calling the correct way. Excellent fun. Is there anyone I didn't go to on the sofa? Flossie. What have you got? Hammer throw. I'm afraid we did have hammer throw. I'm sorry. Did you have a backup one, Flossie? Did you have a second one?
Oh yeah, but it was handball.
It was handball. Yeah, you can have 5 points. Why not? And actually, no, whiskey. Whiskey can have 5 points. That seems fair. Hang on a minute. Look at this. In the Twitch chat, Mr. Plumbers says, I donated direct to David Hoare. Does that count? David, check your PayPal notifications. The wheels have started falling off.
In a great way.
Leaky says, I feel like I'm donating without fully appreciating the consequence. You may just be right. Listen, we've got 14 minutes left to donate. We're going to do an emote. We're going to do an emote thing. Here we go. Subscriptions do not get you onto the sofa. Oh, sorry. Let's round this game off properly. You all get 50 points, and Matthias wins. And hang on, Sindhu's saying time out. Your ones.
No one has said horse racing.
Everyone said horse racing on the Twitch chat.
Well, I'm not seeing Twitch, so I'm just seeing the
high jump, 100-meter, hen throwing, handball. Do you know? I don't think anyone said horse riding, but no one said
racing.
No one said horse racing.
Horse riding is not a sport. You're doing it yourself. Who cares? It's the race that counts.
That's fair. Sindhu, you can have half a point.
That was on the stroke of 10 minutes as well. That's good.
And it was on the stroke of 10 minutes. David, were you timing the game?
Yeah,
no, I was timing how long Sindhu could
I had to be nice, and I'm done being nice.
Oh shit! Done being nice. Absolutely brilliant. Subscribing to the show is a thing that you can do if you have a Twitter account. And look, you get lovely emotes. Look at this. All the people in the Twitch chat right now, they have subscribed to the show. Matthias, maybe it's a different Matthias. Histor is a 1 month subscriber. You get a little star with my face on it, and apparently that's a thing you want. Okay, thank you. The latest teleport, £9.94. We're now looking for a £9.93. Can I just say, I love this. And I love you, and deliberately damning the show with faint praise by donating lower and lower amounts of money. It's the sort of shit that no individual could come up with. But as a team, we've managed to do it. I'm so thrilled. Are we going to owe money past zero? Are we going to owe money? Good point. No one donate less than zero. So listen, we've got to talk to you about the new emotes. If you subscribe to the show, you no longer get put in the lottery of who gets to be on the show. That is purely donation only. But if you're a Twitch person, or you're a Twitch person and you're an Amazon Prime user, you can link the two, and we get £2.50 and Twitch get £2.50, so they're thrilled, and it costs you nothing. But if you are not an Amazon Prime person or have already done that elsewhere, you can subscribe to the show, and although it doesn't get you into the sofa, what it does is, as I understand it, it means that you don't have to put up with an unskippable skippable 30-second advert before the feed. So that's good. Also, the key thing is you get access to the emotes. Everyone go nuts with the emotes. We have the Whore Train. That's David Hoare with his face over Thomas the Tank Engine. We have the Dev emote. That was the first one with me saying, Dev, are you a Dev? And we have a brand new... Oh, we've got Ian in the cupboard, of course, and a lot of love here from everyone. Can we just give a huge round of applause to Ian, who's not in the show tonight, but is watching? Love Ian. Livy, just to fill you in, there's this guy, Ian. That's pretty much
Gets in the cupboard.
Wonderful Narniac adventures. Oh, fuck you. Hymin, Kate Bud, and Maggie have all donated £9.93. And do you know what? The only saving grace about this is that Maggie is hopping mad. She wasn't the first person to donate £9.99. And Yo is using an emote which is a herring emote. It's a ham hand. And Yo is keen to point out that they've subscribed to Herring, but not this show. The point is, it lacks the finesse of a £9.92 donation, but what are you going to do, Yo? I just said, what are you going to do, Yo? And it did not suit me at all. We've got a new one. We've got Cool Stephen. Everyone just Cool Stephen up the Twitch chat for me. Who'd have thought pre-pandemic that I would ever say, everyone, Cool Stephen up the Twitch chat? It's the most Nathan Barley thing I've ever heard. Fucking hell, there's a million Cool Stephens. If you don't know Cool Stephen, he's in Alabama. We hope he's safe. He doesn't appear to be here tonight unless he has a Twitch handle that I don't recognise. If you... Twitch chat just got infinitely cooler. It really did. Let's get the fuck on with the show. We've got an act. Do you remember them? We've got an act to act. Your next act, I accidentally mispronounced as Mark's synonyms on the show when I was bigging him up last week, which I think he'd quite like. It's Mark Simmons. He's going to be doing some new material for us. He's an absolutely brilliant one-liner comic, and I think that's bigged up someone quite enough before they start doing new stuff. So please welcome with a round of applause, which begins now, Mark Simmons.
Hey. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Mark.
Showbiz.
Yeah. Let's do this, right? I've got some new jokes. Some of them will be good, I think. Some might not be so good. So what I'm going to do is tick and cross, yeah? So I've got 34, so we won't get through all of those. So if I go through people, if you give me a number, I'll do that joke. And then if it's bad, it's your fault. So who shall we start with? House of Beer. Let's do. Hello. Number between 1 and 34?
29.
29. My girlfriend said I should do more around the house, so I built a moat. Right, that's a good one. I'll tick that. Leslie, number between 1 and 34?
17.
17. I went on a website about kinky activity in the medieval times, and it said scroll to bottom. Right. Bit of a rude one start. Who's next? Beam. Oh no.
5.
What number?
5.
5. Oh God, my tapestry exam's looming. I really like that. I tried it once in a live gig. It didn't work very well, but it's staying in. Shara?
6.
6. So, by the way, I haven't learned all these perfectly. So my father used to work 10 hours a day to put food on the table. Great dad. Slow cook. That's all right, isn't it? That's all right. Who's next? Alan. Not a golfer. I was playing golf and my dad fell on me. I was under par. Give me a number.
Number 1.
I went to the beach, right? I took my shirt off. This really attractive lady came over. She said, "Oh, you must work out." I was like, "Oh, thanks very much." She went, "No, you must work out." Who's next? Phil.
£9.92. No, sorry, 9.
9. I was having an argument with my friend about what part of the body gets circumcised. I said, "It's the penis." End of. James?
13.
13. Oh, this is very new. I don't know this very well. So I used to help rehabilitate people, and I met this woman, and she came up to me. She said, "My name's Sarah. I'm a sex addict, and you are?" I said, "No, I'm not." Good. When it's a brand new one, and I haven't said it out loud, I like that. That's good. Who's next? Can't see. Livy.
22.
22. I really want to meet Mo Farah. I've got a new overtaking technique I want to run past him. Who's next? Jake?
30.
30. My nan's against me cage. No, don't need to, not quite. Hang on. Missed the word out. So my nan was against me cage fighting, but in the end, I beat her. Who's next? Flossie.
2.
2. This doesn't technically work because we're in lockdown, but pretend we're not. Okay. So I just started a new powerlifting program. Week 1 is what they call me. Another one. Who's next? Anne-Marie, Scotland.
26, please.
26. I just bought a chin-up bar. It's where sad people go to drink. John?
12.
12. Okay. So I might not be able to physically twerk, but still. Delivery needs work on that one. Sindhu, come on, why not?
22.
22. I think, do we have 20? We have 22.
Oh, bugger. 24.
Okay. So I told my friend if he's panicking, he should just take a deep breath. Anyway, he drowned. Quite dark, that one. Sorry.
But it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah. David.
29? Yeah,
29. So my personal trainer. So I handed my personal trainer a photo of me drunk and a photo of me sober. No, the other way around. Sober, and then a photo of me drunk, and he said that's not what he meant by before and after shots. Don't mess it up. Probably haven't got long left. Callum. You said Callum? Oh, okay. Okay. Stuart, give us a number. How long have I got left?
I do. Let's call this. Should we call this the last one? Do you want to do your favourite one out of the ones you got left?
I'll do one. It's a risky one. Not risky, but I've never. Okay. So I tell you who bugs me.
Mark Simmons, absolutely fantastic. Oh my God. I mean, I think your puns are the only puns I like. I cannot stand puns, but yours great. That Mo Farah one is absolutely brilliant, mate. I've got a small bone to pick with you, though, which is that when you arrived, Fatboy Swabs said, finally a proper podcaster. Can you just tell us quickly about your fabulous podcast, please?
My podcast is called Jokes with Mark Simmons. So if you like that, where you're going through new jokes, it's sort of it's a similar sort of vibe. So I have a guest comic on, and we just talk about jokes that they can't get to work. So jokes they've tried in an environment like this, and for some reason they don't work, and we just chat about it. So I think if you like ComCom Pod, you'll like this.
ComCom Pod, tell us what that is.
It's some budget.
Yeah, I realised I was setting myself up terribly badly there. But yeah, no, I totally agree with that. If you're a fan of ComCom Pod, Mark, jokes. What's it called? Jokes with Mark.
Yeah, just Jokes with Mark.
Yeah, Jokes with Mark is the only other podcast about comedy I will recommend without having to grit my teeth first. It's really good. It's called Jokes with Mark. And where can we find you? Do you tweet jokes? You put stuff on Twitter? What are we finding?
Jokes with Mark on social media. Everything at Jokes with Mark.
Do you want me to get you to say Jokes with Mark a few more times?
At Jokes with Mark, please.
Thank you very much. Give it up for Mark Simmons, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Cheers, Mark. Bye for now. That's Jokes with Mark. Now listen, we have 1 minute left. Leaky is the current winner with £12.34. Not to be outdone, Yeo's gone for 9.91. Great, £9.91. Leaky's got 12.34. And we've got about a minute before we close the book. 1 minute, be teleported in just to piss Leaky off. Yes, GSV Ethics Gradient, that was Jokes with Mark. Sindhu, what would you make? Proper jokes. Do you ever write proper, like proper little...
No, I mean, that thing about twerk, but still, I mean, that stuff, the moment I hear it, I'm like, how has anyone thought of this? So I never write that kind of one line and people are like, ha, 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 and there's meaning. That's just not my scene. I just get on stage and be like, I'm having these feelings, you know what I mean? And that's neither here nor there. So no, I'm full of admiration for that. And I laughed so much. It really reminded me of being at a gig when one-liner comics come on and I'm like, it's coming up, but there it is. And then you laugh.
You mean to say this show reminded you of being at a gig? It's almost like a sort of live experience with living, breathing human beings.
But I haven't done an online gig with a one-liner comic, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see.
Yes, a lot of online gigs are sort of, people are, it's like they're talking about what they're going through. This person was like twerking, but still. Ha. I love that. I love that.
I think we should do an item where we write down all the jokes that Mark did, and Sindhu has to deliver them, and then just deliver them slowly, and then say ha ha. Okay, exciting news. Exciting news. Leaky has won the teleport with £12.34, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. I've just noticed, which is like a sort of a righteous and just version of the ever descending spiral. What we're calling future episodes the donation spiral. Leaky's escaped it. We need £9.90. I think it's too late for that, mate. If you want to continue, if you wish to continue the donation spiral, then feel free to donate £9.90. But we're going to let Leaky in. So they're the top donator. Callum's words. Leaky is the top donator. With 12.34. Also, I'm just making fun of Callum. He's only a young man. He doesn't understand words. But he understands the internet, and that's important. Please don't mute me. So I just also made a note during that last bit of Heather in the Twitch chat. Heather, famously big supporter of Bean, not technically House of Bean, but might as well be. Heather is Bean adjacent. Stuart is trying to ruin you. We must destroy him. I think this is getting out of hand. And oh lol, Frosty21 says, oh lol, now I just got the twerking joke. So Sindhu, there's hope for you yet, because you just delivered Mark's joke in such a way that the remaining person in the Twitch stream that didn't understand it suddenly got it.
Oh, that's because I said it in that way, like da-da-da, da-da-da. Ha ha! I told them.
There we go. That's it. Like in Shakespeare, when you make a reference to like a stem, and you have to grab your nuts. So you're like, yeah, that's what I meant. Let's gloss over that. Didn't like that.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that in Shakespeare. I just want to ask a question. All the people that were donating just below £10 for whatever point they were making, you still got the money, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Then it's fine.
There we go. There's a strong financial head on her shoulders. So listen, we've just had an exciting question from producer Callum. Slowpoke just supported the Infinite Sofa with £12.35 at exactly 10 p.m. Absolutely incredible. Now, it is the news. Leaky is in the waiting room. Technically been pipped at the post. And I tell you what, Callum, I'm not seeing Leaky in the waiting room. Wow. I'm not seeing either.
I've already let Leaky in because I'm an idiot.
What?
You just let Leaky in.
David,
this is Leaky. Check Leaky out. Look at Leaky, everybody. Great to have you here.
Hello, everyone.
Leaky, you are clearly a professional streamer. What the fuck is going on?
I'm very good at buying equipment and then not really using it. I'm one of those.
You are so welcome here, Leaky. You're so welcome. And I absolutely love that you have the best audio quality of anyone on the show. Very impressive. Whereabouts in the world are you based, Leaky?
I am in Suffolk.
Suffolk.
Yes.
Very good. I'm just loving. You have properly. Did you look at a blog about backlighting? Because I did, and I ended up with this fucking monstrosity.
I've read all the blogs. I've read everything. I haven't got the confidence to actually put anything out there, but I've bought all the kit.
Oh, mate, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Great to have you here. Let's welcome Leaky with a huge round of applause. Thanks so much for donating to the show. Just to include you in the trad chat we were doing earlier on, as a child, Leaky, what toy were you most jealous of one of your mates having?
I had a mate with a big track.
Oh, I remember Big Track. Oh, yes, mate.
They had this big track. I eventually got one myself. It was terrible.
Yeah, a story with a happy ending. So jealousy over, it's all fine. Big Track was kind of programmable, wasn't it? It was like two sort of 6 wheels, 3 on either side, and you could program it with a cursor so it would go forward, 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 left.
Yeah, it was like really, really old fashioned. Like it needed like 18 batteries and lasted about a minute. And you would program it, and you could make it go forward 5 places, go backwards 5 places. But the forwards and backwards were always like not quite accurate enough. So all the adverts had this thing where it was kind of like, oh, go and fetch something, go and fetch your cup of tea from the kitchen. But it would like kind of get stuck on the cat on the way back.
Kill your cat with Big Track. I remember Big Track was great. I had Omni Junior. Sindhu, I didn't. Does anyone remember Omni Junior? He was sort of a robot, but it was just a little thing that would bump into stuff and go, "I'm Omni Junior," and that was it. It was sort of flash and
No,
dome
in
for a
India,
head.
we didn't have that. We just had our younger cousins.
God, another dark turn. Sindhu,
No, we would just tell them what to do. We would say, "Now we're going to say this. You're going to go. You're going to hit the wall lightly, and then." So you felt like you had a robot, you know.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I do know exactly what you mean. I was distracted because Slowpoke commented saying they didn't want to be on the sofa. Look at that. Can we have a round of applause for Slowpoke for donating without wanting to be on the sofa? Thank you, Slowpoke. Let's talk to the people on the sofa again. I have another question for you, my dear sofa-bound friends. What is the most annoying trait that you have that you got from the people who raised you? What we're doing here is we're taking it into a realm of childhood and parenting, because that's what the fabulous new podcast with Sindhu Vee and Stu Goldsmith, Child Labour, is all about in a very deep, real and meaningful way. Thank you. Can you just do that gesture again, Sindhu, because I'd like to highlight it? That a lot. I like that a lot. Sometimes when we're recording, obviously pre-pando, me and Sindhu are in the same room as our guest, and we come up with a little. What was our signal for? Wasn't there a signal I had to do?
That was no, it was for me because I had never podcasted, and then I would just keep talking, and you were like, "Oh my God, Lord!" So then you had, and I said, "You got to do something, Stu." When I do that, you got to stop me. And I said, "Just kick me." And you said you were not going to kick me. You said, "I'm not going to kick you." So I was like,
He's a good guy. Don't cancel Stu. Hashtag don't cancel Stu.
Yeah, don't cancel Stu. And so I said, but you know, I was mortified, and so then that I was doing that, and so then you said, "Well, I'll just." You know what was funny? I was mortified, and you were mortified that I was mortified.
Yes, it was a good chat. We were just outside Piccadilly Circus.
The tube, yeah. Anyway, and so then we came up with a sign, which was you would scratch your ear.
Yes,
and
because
I never focused on your ear as much, to be honest, as I did during those fucking records.
The issue was simply that you were like, I've done lots of interviews in podcasting, whereas whenever you've been on podcast, you've been the interviewee.
Yes.
So frequently you'd segue into a big story about your life.
I know, and then afterwards there'd be more, but then I stopped because I focused on your ear, and I'm a good student, as my father always said. She's very quick on the uptake. So I was quick on the uptake because I never made that mistake again. Because you didn't.
It was very good. And now we're sort of painting me as this person who's kind of, we're painting me accurately as someone who gave you some feedback. And
yeah, I'm painting you as someone who very kindly asked me to be on the podcast and didn't want it to be utter shit. So told me how to make it better. I think that's a good person.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. I'm going to bug out of this bit of the conversation before anyone starts wielding a knife. So tell us, Sindhu, what is the most annoying trait that you got from your parents? I've just muted you accidentally. I'm so sorry.
So, I feel that as a host, I should open this up to the sofa.
Oh, that's an excellent one, Sindhu. Yes, let's open it up to the sofa. Who do you want to hear from, Sindhu?
In fact, can I ask Leaky?
Let's find out, Leaky. What's the most annoying? Is there a thing you found yourself doing that you're like, I've got that off my folks?
Oh yeah, this is the age-old thing. It's like when you're at school, when you're just like kind of. Oh, hopefully they'll pick somebody else in the classroom first.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no worries. That's cool. That's cool. Let's go.
We can come back. I will pick someone else. I'm trying to go to gallery view and someone keeps changing me to my own face.
Oh, sorry. That'll be Stu.
Can I ask Alan, not a golfer?
Alan, let's assume for a minute that your father is Bruce Wayne. What is most annoying trait?
Seems called Bruce.
Is he?
Your dad's called Bruce? Oh man, this whole Batman thing has some deep roots, dude.
It's a thing.
It's great. It's a great. I'm fully behind it.
So what what's the most annoying trait then, Alan, that you picked up from your folks?
I do a thing every now and again where a random sentence will spark off a memory that's got nothing to do with the sentence that's been said.
Oh yes. Yes, I know what you mean. I do something similar. Like I've noticed a thing I got from my parents when they were together when I was a kid. Then they'd be watching Inspector Morse and they'd go, "Oh, that's Oxford." And I've picked up that fucking annoying trait of pointing out a place where you're like, I've been there. And I find myself doing that now. I'm watching a movie or something and I'll say to myself, "Oh, I've been there, Sherwood Forest," or whatever. Fucking dreadful. Let's have Matthias. What have you got? What have you picked up from your folks, Matthias?
Being German, it's something typical. Punctuality.
It's just so fucking typical. And was there a moment when you're like, "Oh God, I'm German," just like Mutty and Farty?
So is it being punctual? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Just being punctual. I thought I was going to leave it. I thought he was just saying the fact he was German. Can we go? Pick someone else. Pick someone else. Who do you fancy, Sindhu?
Livy.
Livy. Where's Livy? I've lost Livy. There's Livy. Sorry, I'm looking at lots of faces. Hello, Livy.
I don't really know. I suppose it just sort of be how meticulously organised I can be, like my mum. Because being organised is good to a point, and it can actually annoy people, I've discovered.
What being meticulous?
Like I just memorize like every little detail about like something that like has to be done, and it has to be done in a certain way, and just sort of I don't know, things like that.
I don't know that that's negative. I mean, I think that Batman could do with that kind of. Batman's a meticulous guy. Do you reckon, out of the people currently on the sofa, do you reckon we could build Batman if we used? Alan's got the costume; he's got that nailed. Livy's got attention to detail. Leslie, you're from New Jersey, so you've presumably got a half decent right hook. Jake, you've got Spider-Man. What did you bring to the Batman table?
Oh, I'm partially blind. That's like a bat.
Yeah, echolocation. presumably, Jake, your other senses have grown bigger to compensate. That happens in comics, right?
Yeah, I'm really good at tasting things now.
John, let's find out. John, what did you picked up? What's the most annoying trait you find yourself doing that your folks did?
We were brought up to be quite polite, believe it or not. So we were never allowed to not like anything, couldn't hate anything. So a stock phrase in our family now is, "It's not my favourite."
Yes, that's good. That's good. Sindhu, do you what is your family like in terms of saying like slagging things off? How did you grow up in terms of like your ability? Were you allowed to say that you didn't like stuff?
No, not as kids. If it was something your parents were putting on, like whatever, if it was your parents had introduced it into your universe, you really couldn't say you didn't like it. You were like, okay. But there was so much slagging off of things behind closed doors. So like you'd go and meet some lady that your mom knew, and then you'd come back, your mom would just be ripping into her the whole time. And as a young kid, you were like, oh, but you said that you were so nice to her. My mother would say, of course I'm being nice to her. I'm not going to tell her she's shithead. I'm telling you. So there's a lot of that. So you sort of understood when to slag things off, but you couldn't slag things off to your parents.
I never got that from my parents, but I did get from my granny, my fabulous granny who died a few years ago. She was, have I told you about her? She's Scottish, and she was fiercely Scottish. And when she was in hospital and kind of like for one of the last times, like I don't want to say on the way out in a sort of casual way, but we worried that she wouldn't get to see the springtime, and it was springtime, and I was there. Did I tell this story? I don't know if I told this story on the sofa before. I basically went in. Of course, I've got nothing to do during the day. Back when I was just a pre-pando comedian. So I said to the ward sister, "Can I take her out? She's in a bed. Can I take her out out. It's the springtime. It might be the last springtime. And they said, oh, that's not really possible. And I was like, I've got so much free time and I really love talking to people. And she was like, all right, fucking get out. So I wheeled her out on the gurney in her bed. And two of her friends from her sheltered accommodation were around the corner. They came around the corner and they went, "Ooh, cooey, cooey, hello there." And she looked up at me and went, "Oh, God, take me back inside. I can't stand them." And I was like, yes. Absolutely fantastic. To their faces, no fucking about. Is this in the Twitch stream? Let's just go to the stream there, the chat. The Twitch stream. I don't know if I can talk about the chat. John Keogh says, "Is this turning into some sort of parenting show? There could be a podcast in this." Idea. Nick Blake7 says, "Never underestimate the power of someone with nothing better to do." It's true. Amanda Donnett says, "Like my mum, I can only cook spaghetti for approximately 1 million people."
Yeah.
Yes.
That's another thing. That's another thing. Like you overcook and then you tell the kids, "Why aren't you eating?" And they're like throwing up. They're like, "We've had enough." And I'm like, "This is not going in the fridge." But I think that's the other thing is this is only a family, we're a family of 5. Like that's nobody in India. That's like 5 is just hanging around. They're not even, you know what I mean? Like bulk meals. And so in this lockdown has proved to be quite tough on the kids. They're always like, just can we have toast? Because you can't overdo toast.
Yes.
I do get that. I just want to say about the podcast, I think if people, I don't know if you're wondering about this, but I think it's interesting is that comedians spend a lot of time talking about stuff, but not really talking about it. Like we'll say things about our families and this and that. And what I found interesting on the podcast was we were able to not pin comics down, but we were able to get them to actually talk about stuff.
Yes,
and
this is true.
I found very fascinating. And I know that you get a lot of that because of ComCom Pod, but it was the first for me.
Yes, there's a particularly good bit and it's next week's episode with Spencer Jones, friend of the show, lovely friend of ours, fabulous Spencer Jones, where he's talking about his the value of the education system as he sees it, and his what he wants for his children, and whether or not kids have to just kind of get over not liking school and go and do it. And it's so much fun being in the room with you as he's going, because we're going to home educate, and that's most important. And I can look over and I can see Sindhu just. Like this, very good.
But it's just such a different point of view. But then again, it's Spencer. You know what I mean? Like he's going to get it right.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, there's other guests who if they'd said that, I'd have been like.
and it's that when I say bad cop, all I mean is it's scathing disappointment, and the ever-present threat of a tight slap. We're going to get. Another act on. This next act is absolutely incredible. I was crying laughing during his fantastic show at the Edinburgh Festival, and I'm sure you're going to love him. So I would ask Jack, if you're there, can you turn on your video? Can we get some Jack Tucker's video over here? Here's Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of America's premier comedians with a huge round of applause. It's Jack Tucker.
Hey.
Hello, Stuart.
Hey.
Oh. Jack Tucker, hello.
Hey, it's so great to see you, Jack. Thanks for coming on to the show. How are you? Where are you?
Well, right now I'm currently in Los Angeles, Hollywood, California, if you can believe it. And it's going really well. By the way, can you just let me know before we start? I just have to use the can.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Do you want me to fill? Do you want me to fill for a bit?
You want to film?
Do you want me to stall? Do you want me to stall?
Do you want my stool? Yuck. You're crazy. You're crazy.
Oh God.
Do we start?
Yeah, okay, we're on now. Did that tell me?
My God. Hello, everybody. Hello, my name is Jack Tucker. I am a comedian from New York City. Lovely America. It's good to see you in United Kinglish, mate. Mate.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be seen. And to tell me that that statuette you held up, did that say best father?
It did actually. I won. This was a category that used to be at the Oscar Awards. They took away a few years ago. Very controversial decision, but luckily I was one of the last recipients.
Oh, fantastic! Tell us about your family, Jack.
Well, I am a married man, so calm down, everybody. But it's a lockdown, so. But no, truthfully, I am going through a divorce right now, so it is not. Yeah.
That's a very sad time. You must be finding that hard.
Yeah, it's hard. My wife, well, I can't call her that legally. But yeah, you can't. You can write it down on a piece of paper, but you can't take the love out of a man's heart. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
While it is very difficult, and I haven't seen her in a while, I technically haven't seen her in a few months because she is seeing someone else. But I don't know. It's fake news, so you really can't stop me.
Okay, well, great to hear you're maintaining a positive attitude. Have you been? How are you finding gigging? It must be so difficult for a stand-up comedian like ourselves. You must be finding it hard to not be out on the road.
I mean, not really. Me personally, I've been performing this whole time. I'm one of the only comedians that you could book right now, so I'm getting a lot of work.
You're actually going out and gigging.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me work on my riff. I'm sorry. Gotcha. You know, sometimes you don't even have to tell the joke, but it is good. I actually got another job though. I started working for the UN of Employment in America, and I'm making $167 a week, and I already got a $600 bonus for a coronavirus. I don't even know, but it's fantastic.
That's great. So you're managing. The important thing is your mental health. How are you coping? You're staying positive.
Mental health. What? Is it some liberal word you guys made up?
Oh, no, I just your happiness, your self-belief.
Oh, I mean, I'm doing great. You know, I just found out that I mean, you know, obviously I wanted to prepare for this in the event that I die, but I just got my tombstone. I'm going to be getting buried on Hollywood Boulevard. That's pretty cool. So honestly, if I go, I'm going to a pretty good place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, it's nice to see you so pleased. What are you finding is the hardest thing about the lockdown?
I don't know. I mean, you know, I personally, I think the hardest part is just seeing everybody talk such nasty things about New York City. Everyone's saying that is so surprised that New York is number one. Obviously, we are the epidermis of America. We are number one city in America. It's like nobody even knows history, you know. And our governor, this guy Andrew Cuomo, do you know that he has a nipple ring?
Let's be careful. Be careful there.
Look, I'm not going to do anything here for Twist because you can't get them out. But let's just say the carpets match the drapes, if you know what I mean.
God, I don't, and I'm so glad I don't.
He also has a brother. He's got a brother who works for CNN, the Center of News Control, and I wonder if his brother also has a nipple ring.
Is this another one of your riffs?
It could be. What would you like me to play?
Okay. What have you got? What have you got ready to go? What have you got in the barrel?
Well, I don't have any barrels in here. I just have a guitar. But if I did have a barrel, I would probably say petroleum. Oil prices are very low right now, and I actually got I also just found that I started working. I don't want to brag, Stewie. By the way, do you know your name Stewie is like the Family Guy?
Yeah, that's true. He's we're close friends.
What the deuce?
Do it again.
What the deuce? Stuart.
Yeah, that's me to a T. That's me to an absolute T.
Do you guys have Family Guys in UK?
Yeah, we totally have that show.
I love Mr. Family Guy. Hey Lois, I'm a Family Guy. He's my favorite one.
That's the guy. Hey, listen, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Jack, but we've got a fantastic. We've just been raided. We've been raided by Robotron, which is why if you're in the Twitch chat, you'll see a lot of I don't know what that is. Is that a shovel? Is it a fuckloaf? There's a couple of luxuriant pineapples there. They're not luxuriant pineapples. I know the term, but I've forgotten. But anyway, thank you so much, Robotron. Thank you to Snowdrop Hat Lady, to Div Lol, G-Master P90, Izzy4229, and Check Diddley, and all of your ilk. How are you feeling about that, Jack? Are you excited about a raid?
I don't know what any of that means, but go Raiders.
Can we do a Go Lakers emote? There's got to be something in there. Flamboyant potato is, of course, what I meant. Thank you.
Oh, flamboyant potato. Oh.
Yeah, yeah. It's a pineapple basically. It's sort of complicated. Can't go into it. Do you do improv comedy, Jack? Do you do comedy from like suggestions?
Yes, I do. Mate.
Can we get some topics for you to improvise from the people on the sofa here?
That would be fantastic.
Hands up, guys, on the sofa if you've got something. Bean, what have you got for us?
I think we should have some Paddington Bear comedy.
Bit of Paddington Bear, Jack. What have you got?
Paddington Bear. Excuse me. Mind the gap. This station is huge.
That's a riff, ladies and gentlemen.
I love the USMK.
Did you, Jack? You went to the Edinburgh Festival last year. How was your time in Edinburgh?
I did. I went to the Edinburgh Burger Festival. It was fantastic. We had a really good time there. I saw you there. You came to my show, Stewie.
I loved the show. I loved it when all those guys walked out very early on.
Okay, they did not walk out. They got up early to tell their friends to come back tomorrow.
Yeah, that's probably it.
This happened roughly, I didn't count, but 67 times.
And you dealt with it with real grace.
Hey, I'm a gracious man.
You certainly are a gracious man. Listen, we've got to let you go pretty soon, Jack. We've got to move on. We've got to wrap the show up. It's been fantastic talking to you.
Stewie, before we go, could I just ask you a question? Can we mute the guests maybe for a second?
we can mute them. They can just be quiet. That's okay. They can just they can be quiet for us for a sec.
Oh, do you mind if can you send me some money?
Sure, Jack Tucker, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic to have you here, Jack.
I just really need to
Jack Tucker there. That's the world's best father, according to the actual Oscars. There we are. Thank you, Jack Tucker. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Sindhu, from two very different styles of comedy there that we've had on the show tonight. Three earlier on. Listen, gang, we've pretty much finished the show. Now, there is one final thing I've got to do with Sindhu. Before I do that, I'm just going to let you know that next show, the guests are Rod Gilbert, Flo and Joan, Alistair Beckett King, and my friend Asaf and Roll. Asaf and Roll is a fabulous juggler from Israel. He's a fantastic street performer friend of mine, and his name is Asaf. That's his name, A-S-A-F, and his name of his character is Asaf Unroll, and it drives me up the fucking wall because it does not work as a pun. So when he comes here on Thursday, I'll allude to it, and if you can all pile on in the chat, that would be great. Now, if you want to be on the sofa for that show, of course, you can donate. Any donations from the beginning of the show tonight at 9, right up until the show starts on Thursday at 9 o'clock, then you will have the chance to get in there, and you can ask Rod Gilbert what it's like to be Rod Gilbert. You can ask him anything you like. You can chat to Flo and Joan, and you can join us on the sofa. We haven't had time for an emote poll this time, but sound off in the chat whether you would prefer Flossie Please or House of Bean. Flossie Please or House of Bean.
Pit us against each other.
I'm specifically and deliberately pitting you against one another. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Classic British technique. It's called divide and rule.
Thank you. Oh, that wasn't a compliment. Terribly sorry. Many apologies, Sindhu. Sindhu, if you had to choose, and we've had a lot of men in the with an emote. If you had to choose purely on the basis of faces at the moment, who do you think would make for a good emote? And that means an emote is like a tiny little. I know what the fuck it is. It's like something.
Is it like a tiny little emoji?
Yeah, it's like an emoji. I mean, we could do, if we did an emoji of you, what kind of expression would you have for an emoji of you?
But that's if can you not put me into the other view? Leave me on this view, Stu, so I can look at everyone. You keep
Yes.
making me look at my own
I'm
face.
so sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. Did you hear how quickly I capitulated, everyone? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Exactly. I would pick Phil.
Phil.
Because Phil has this whole headgear thing, which I have no idea why he has it on, because it's not disguising anything. It's not camouflage. It's just there. And I have something on my head which is just there, but makes a little more sense. No offense, Phil, but I don't know what's going on there. And I think if I wanted an emoji and it would be like mystery, it would be Phil with that headgear.
Now, I'm going to pop you out of gallery view in order just to focus on myself there. I specifically said not a man. But that's okay because Phil,
I don't see gender. I don't know what to
let's just spotlight Phil. Okay. Phil's got quite a good emoji face.
Yeah, it's full of mystery.
Could you give us a sort of enigmatic face, Phil?
No, Phil, enigmatic means you shouldn't be shocked. You should be looking mysterious. You look shocked in that.
Can you look mysterious, like you hold a secret? Just pretend for a minute that you.
Oh, that's a secret.
Secret. I mean, what we might do to wrap the show up is just ask Phil to do some faces. Someone shout out an emotion or an expression.
Bemusement.
Bemusement, Phil. Bemusement.
I feel like I've let.
That's good. This is good. Phil, what do you do for a living? Are you some sort of actor?
I'm an internal auditor.
Oh, an internal auditor. I mean, in a real sense, though, aren't we all internal auditors? Let's have Leslie. Leslie, give us an expression or an emotion. No, for Phil. I mean, I love that you're rising to the challenge immediately.
Okay, surprise.
Surprise. I think what we're learning is that he's in touch. He has audited himself internally. Oh, Izzy in the chat. Izzy in the chat says secretive.
Oh God.
Oh, what range?
What range? And what a fucking maverick! It's like the words we're saying don't mean anything to him. Let's get G-Master says snitch. A snitch.
Oh.
Yes. And has anyone else noticed? He's just doing versions of pirate, which I really enjoy. Last one, Phil. You're very gamely playing along with this. Thank you, Phil. We've got from Toy Box Explosion, childlike wonder. Variations on a theme, but I love it. Absolutely love it. Listen, can you? Oh, sorry, very last one because it was Ian. Ian, thank you. You weren't in the show tonight. I'm so sorry, but thanks for participating. Ian, ambivalence. I can sense an emote coming. Now listen, we've got it. We're doing a vote at the moment. Is everyone? Callum, tell me if that's the end of the vote. Because we're 1 minute over our absolute hard deadline. They are final results. The final results. Flossie Please had 41%. House of Bean 49%. House of Bean. Over at House of Bean. Bean, can we have the expression that you would like? It could be something anti-Goldsmith. It could be something sort of with its own internal
She
positivity.
needs to do this.
I feel like for David Hoare, I need to do this.
Great work. Could you do us a favour, just for the sake of the photo? Could you do your hand slightly nearer to your face? Yes, someone screen grab that, knock it up into an emote. It's nothing to do with me. Now, thank you very much. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Sindhu Vee. It's been,
for having me. It was so fun. Thank you for having me.
I think we can all agree that the key principle of tonight is that the 98 people who raided from Robotron or whatever's left of them need to get on their phones right now and subscribe to Child Labour, the new parenting podcast with Sindhu Vee. And we're all going to sit here and fucking wait while you do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to all of you for joining us. Sindhu, let's give Sindhu a huge... Oh, wait. The one thing we didn't do. Leaky, as our teleporter, gets to ask Sindhu a question. Leaky, if you can't think of one, if you don't have one at your fingertips, nope, that's looking like a no. So we'll go over to Matthias for an emergency question. A backup. We're calling them backup questions because it's not herring. It's a backup question from Matthias for Sindhu Vee.
If you died and your remains would be put into a scented candle, what would it smell like?
Holy fucking shit. He's never let us down. If you died and your remains would be put into a scented candle, What would it smell like? I think the question is more like, what would you like to smell like, rather than kind of awful tallow.
What would your smell actually be? It would smell of sandalwood.
Sandalwood. It's
Sandalwood.
a classy smell. Everyone just imagine sandalwood for a moment. I can't. Can you? Hands up if you managed to successfully smell sandalwood.
And Matthias, it's a very good question. And the reason I said sandalwood is it's a wonderful smell, but it forces you to pay attention.
Oh,
forces you to pay attention.
It's not like mimosa, which you can have and you're doing your business. You're not thinking about
mimosa. No, well, what's the point of mimosa?
Sandalwood is like it makes you pay attention.
If you've just joined us, we're talking smells. Thank you so much to everyone for being on the show. Just to remind you, this Thursday at 9 p.m. And if you've just joined us, drop a follow. Follow will you get all your notifications. Oh, and I tell you what as well. I'll tell you about the green room after this. But next Thursday, this coming Thursday at 9 p.m, Rod Gilbert, Flo and Joan doing a fantastic bit of a number. I've seen it already. Alistair Beckett King is going to be here. ABK, if you like anything that I like, you're going to fucking love ABK. He's one of those people I'm just like, his mind is fizzing. And the fabulous Asaf and Roll. Remember, tomorrow night at 8 p.m, it's Chops Comedy here. You will fucking know about it. You're in the room. You're on nearly here anyway. Wardy will probably have gone back into golf mode, having hidden away the Batman revelation. We love that you saved it for us. So Chops Comedy online on this channel, twitch.tv/Stu Goldsmith. I don't know why I'm saying that, because if you're watching this, you literally have to be on that channel. But hit follow, subscribe if you're one of those subscribey people, and see all of those things. And finally, we script the show, the next show, we script at 11 o'clock on the morning of the show. We had like 50 people there this morning, and thank you for helping make it so wonderful. 11 a.m. here on the Twitch channel, 11 a.m. this coming Thursday to script Thursday night's show. Chops tomorrow night, we have Marcus Brigstock, Sarah Bonetto, Chris Betts, Rosie Jones, fuck me, what a lineup, and Rob van Vuren, who is a South African comic who I know from the world of podcasting and international festivals, but have never seen live. But he talks a fucking good game, so I'm sure he's going to be excellent. We are going to raid Terry Minot over this. Is it Minot? 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 Anyone? I'm going for We're going to raid Terry Minot after this. And the very last thing is that thank you very much, everyone on the sofa. Thanks, everyone on the Twitch stream. I'm pointing to you because you're up there on my screen. And finally, the green room tonight. Shall we do this with the green room? Listen, we talked about this in the writers' room earlier on. We thought, because it can be a bit difficult to use as much as Online Town, as much as it's a fun app, it gets a bit mad. We thought we might just open the code for this room and just let everyone in. What do we think? We put that on the Twitch stream. It's not dangerous. There could be naked wanking old men. It is effectively public. We don't want NWOMs. David's going to stay here and retain administrator privileges.
Is Alan crossing his fingers for naked wanking old men?
Alan was crossing his fingers for naked wanking old men. But presumably only so that he can...
Only if one of them's Batman.
Only if he can suit up and start bataranging the shit out of their naked genitals. That sentence almost certainly not allowed on Twitch.
No.
It is dangerous. Corovac says it's very dangerous. Fireball Darren says there's a script. Fuck you. Lolo Frosty says, can we join? I think so. Basically, we don't want it to be too cliquey. There's a green room post-show after party. We'll just let everyone in this one. David Hoare will have his kicking boots on, and we'll just try it as an experiment. It's a disposable room. If it goes tits up, anyone's horrible, we'll bin them. And if it's an absolute disaster, what we will need to do is talk to each other and put hands up and stuff like that. I'm going to leave that all to David, because I'm going to hang around for 5 minutes and see what happens. But David's going to be in the driving seat.
Me and Sindhu are going to start our own podcast.
Yeah, fuck you. Please join me in thanking everyone you saw on the show tonight. You saw Herbie Treehead. Wonderful Mark Simmons. Fantastic Jack Tucker, played by Zucker. His real name, incredibly. Go to Stamptown Comedy to find out all about him. And you saw the wonderful Sindhu Vee. Subscribe to Child Labour Podcast by going to your podcast places and doing that. And I'm sorry, Sindhu, I'll highlight you so you can wave goodbye. I was all...
Bye. Thank you for having me. This is such a... I mean, God, I wish I could hang out with people like you on my sofa all the time.
You are welcome back anytime you like.
Good call.
Good. And I was nice for 10 whole minutes.
You were nice for 10 whole minutes. That was very impressive.
I was.
Yes, please. Callum, if you can post the Zoom link in the chat. This is very dangerous and exciting. We're going to raid Terry. Yes, so we'll post the Zoom link in the chat. Jump on, join in. Sindhu, you're done. Bail, get out of here. Thank you, Sindhu. Bye-bye, Sindhu. Round of applause for Sindhu.
Bye. Bye.
We are only 7 minutes over. Here we go. Oh, if it's Zoom, Callum, if it's Zoom, we can make a waiting room that people get into first. Yeah, that's what we do. Mods can get them. I don't know if we can vet them. The show's officially over. Thank you, everybody. Let's stop streaming. But no, let's not stop streaming. There's the Zoom. Oh, fucking, here they come. Here they come. Someone, this is scary, isn't it?
Stop streaming before letting them in.
This is what we should be doing. Let's not let any of them in yet. One person, let's let Ian in. He's safe. Let Rob Grayson, he's safe. John Keogh's safe. I know that name. Amanda, yes. Zoom host. Why would someone call them Zoom host unless they were a wanking old man? Laura Frost sounds legit. Jose, we know. Oh, are you? Whoa, David, are you letting them in at the same time I am?
Yes.
That's dangerous. Hey, Jose, how you doing? Are we still streaming? Should we stop streaming?
I was going to say, let us stop streaming until we let in.
Bye. That's our show, everybody. Thanks for coming. See you
what an end.
8 p.m. tomorrow for Chops and 9 p.m. for Thursday with Rod Gilbert. Bye.